Watford fans everywhere. I hope you're well. And Omar Moore here. Just a quick word about the game last night. I mean, I've talked about it before here, but I want to talk particularly about Danny Rose. And I think Danny Rose has to start on Sunday against Tottenham Hotspur, one of his former employers. And there's no question in my mind that Danny Rose earned a Premier League start with his fine performance last night against Crystal Palace. This was the first time in well over a year that he played 95 minutes, the entire game of football. And for someone who hasn't really played a lot of football in the previous year plus, the last time I remember seeing him was, in fact, against Watford when he played for Newcastle briefly back in July of 2020 when we beat Newcastle 2-1. He played for Newcastle in that game, and I don't remember him playing the full game then. So to come back after really just over a year of not playing first team football and certainly not playing a full first team game for the entire match, and to do as well as he did, Danny Rose has got to get that start on Sunday at Spurs. Now, there are a number of reasons why, but I'm going to go really into a couple of them that are fairly clear and obvious, really. One, he answered the call of the head coach, Cisco Munoz, who made it very clear, unequivocally, that the game at home against Palace in the Carabao Cup was the game that everyone who wanted to play on Sunday had to prove themselves in order to get Cisco to change his mind and include those players in the first 11. He made that very, very clear in a number of pre-match interviews. And obviously, Danny Rose is one of the players who was listening to that because he put on an excellent display against Palace at left back. And that's the one obvious reason why I think Danny Rose should be included. The second reason is that Danny Rose provides a lot of experience. He is a very good left back. He has a lot to offer. He has wisdom and savvy. He is somebody who will absolutely deal with game situations very well. He rarely ever puts a foot wrong in a game. And Danny Rose will be the kind of veteran leadership at that left back position that I think is needed. I think since Jose Holebas left, and we know Jose was a real character for us, he still has some leadership qualities, Jose Holebas. And even with all the yellow cards that he picked up and a few reds along the way, he showed leadership at that position at left back. And I don't think there's really been any leadership in that position since, if we're really being dead-eyed and honest about it all. And Danny Rose would provide that. And you need leadership in that position in your front line, particularly in that area of the pitch. And Danny Rose would be the ambassador at left back. He's done a wonderful job in this first full game back. And I am very pleased after all the things he has gone through and experienced. He's been very open about mental health challenges. He's been very open about the blatantly racist treatment that he's received and then continues to receive. Danny Rose is someone who is a good quality person as well. And he's someone who is very open about the kinds of things he's faced in life, and also is a great footballer on top of all of that. So that's just gravy. And he's someone who understands the game. He reads the game well. He's a calm one under fire. And I've got to say, Adam Messina, although of course he shined for us in the championship, this is the step up now. It's the Premier League now. And although Adam Messina hasn't played awful at left back, he's had a couple of moments in both of these first two Premier League games where he has, quite frankly, let himself down and let the team down, particularly in that game against Aston Villa. Now, granted, we won the game. That clumsy challenge at the end there against Bertrand Traore, which actually still does still gets stuck in my craw here, despite the fact that we won the game. That's something that is a lack of discipline, is a lack of the sense of the game and game management. And you can't afford that in the Premier League. You just cannot. And so that's one. And then the game against Brighton. Now, granted, everybody was off their game against Brighton pretty much, except for a couple of players, including the manager was off his game a bit there too, as I've talked about. But in that game too, Adam Messina looked like a deer in headlights. And I really do think that this is a win-win for Watford if Cisco puts Danny Rose in there to start the game on Sunday at Tottenham, because what you're going to have is a competition for that left back spot. And that is something that will make the team stronger and better. That will make Adam Messina a better player. That will keep Danny Rose honest as well. So I think this is a win win if Cisco does this, to put Danny Rose in the position to start the game on Sunday against Spurs. And you know what? I think he's going to do it. I think Danny Rose is going to be the starter. I think Cisco's going to put him in as starter. And my prediction is that Danny Rose starts the game at left back against Spurs at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium on Sunday, August the 29th. I am going to make that prediction to you. And Danny Rose, on top of all of that, got a lot to prove to his former employer. They basically sidelined him for a lot of time during the last year or two, and he has a point to prove. Even more reason to put Danny Rose in at left back. And I think that's exactly what Cisco is going to do.